Testing, testing. Looks like we've got sound here. We're gonna do some sewing tonight. Welcome back to our sewing room. And let's position this computer around. We're trying something different. Yeah, there we go. Let's give that a try. I'm gonna see if we can do this with the laptop. Usually I position the phone. You can see my sewing cabinet with lots of fabric over there needs a little organizing, but let's see. I think that's a pretty good view. Let's see if we can do some sewing. Just to recap, we've been working on little girl dresses to match doll dresses. And we've been doing this kind of assembly style. We cut out all the fabric, we zigzagged all the edges, and now we are ready to go ahead and put in we're going to put in some darts. Sorry, a little brain fog there for a minute. Okay, so I cut out everything but the collar. What we're doing is we're taking a butterick pattern and we're modifying it to match our doll dresses. We're going to have cute little doll dresses to match little girl dresses. Hope that makes sense. Let me just move some of this aside and we will go ahead and mark our darts on this front piece. And if you're watching, you'll remember that, that's the back. You'll remember that we had to resize our pieces because the butterick pattern apparently is sized larger. Everybody can see what I'm doing. All right, so what I like to do, this is a piece that was cut on the fold. So I opened it up and I'm just going to position the pattern and then I'm going to go ahead and mark our darts. And the way that I like to do this it's like this. We're going to mark it on both sides and we're going to do each little girl dress. So we'll do all the darts at once. And I know if you've never done darts, they can be a little bit intimidating, but they're actually quite easy. You know, the first time that I made a dress for myself that had darts, they were really long darts. I was kind of paranoid about it, but I really wanted to make that dress. I was making a dress to wear to a beach wedding. And it worked. And it wasn't even that hard. So I'm just flipping this over. And we're going to do both sides. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll have to review this video after the fact to see whether or not it's visually adequate. And our heart goes out to those people in North Carolina. Boy, sad times for those folks. I actually got to go hiking in Chimney Rock several years ago. And it was during the winter, so I didn't get to see the gardens, but oh, how sad is that? All right. So first I mark it using my pins. And my pins match the dress pretty closely, so they're hard to see. But I'm actually going to take each one and fold it pin to pin, and then flip it to the back. Like so. And then just mark it. And then we'll do the next one. And I guess you could do them each one individually, but I like to do them all at once because before I sew, then I can open it up and I can make sure the pleats look good. Like all the angles are the same direction, right? Does that make sense? Looks like I have some people joining me. Hey, thanks. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. This is a really fun project. The great thing about sewing is you can put it down and pick it back up, right? And I had some obligations this week, so I had to put it down. Tonight I have time to sew. All right, so that's the pleats on one side. And the pins are actually catching. I'll see if I can do that a little better. Oops, don't mess it up, Rose. I was trying to do it so I could open it up and we could kind of see how they're gonna lay, right? Give it a little pull. I think that's gonna be good. Let's go ahead and do these other ones over here on the other side of the dress. We're just gonna go pin to pin and fold it right there, and then come around to the other side and mark it, pin it. That's my technique. If anybody else has a better technique, please share for everybody. When I first started sewing, my daughter was a baby. Actually, she wasn't even born yet, right? I waited till you hit that point where you knew it was a go, right? You never start anything until you're a little ways along. And then I started sewing cool things for her bedroom because I wanted her bedroom to be special. And I didn't want like what you saw in the store. I wanted like just cozy things, cute things, little kid things that I made myself. I wanted it custom, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. And so then I learned to sew snowsuits too. Where I'm from, it was really cold outside in the wintertime, Fairbanks, Alaska. And I always felt like the fabric that they used to make the snowsuits for the kids was too stiff when it was cold. And so the first 3 years of her life, I made her snowsuits out of fleece. So that's how I started sewing. And then I did pajamas. But I didn't really have time to get into doll dresses and little girl clothes. So you can see how these pleats are going to be, right? All right, now we're ready to sew our pleats. Let's pull our sewing machine up, turn it on. And I think we'll start on this side. And you can do it however you want to do it. Just make sure you do it the same on each one, right? So I'm going to start at the top and then just come at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to angle out wide and in narrow as I go down, okay? And it's only about, it's less than half an inch, like less than 5/8 inch at the top, my widest point of my angle. I'm going to go forward and backwards to seal off the seam. And then again, each time you do a pleat, you want to do the same distance, and you want to do the same depth, right? Let's go ahead and cut our threads. You don't want any sloppy threads. Right, now let's do the next one. And make sure you're not sewing any fabric together that you don't want sewn together too. Just check your layers. It's important. Doesn't happen too often, but it can happen. And if you want at this point, once you get it started, you can take your pins out. Sometimes those pins are a little bit of a pain. Cut our threads. And if you've been watching any of the videos, like I mostly was doing shorts on this project, but if you've been watching any, let me know if you can see as well with the setup with the laptop. This is the first time I've tried sewing with the laptop as opposed to using the phone overhead. All right, very good. That's one side. Now we're going to work on the other side. You can see how these are turning out, right? Let's come over to the other side. And this is very easy. So hopefully nobody is afraid of darts or pleats at this point. Just make sure you use the same angle and do them the same length. Cut all your threads. And this little caddy is super useful. I can just throw my thread in there so it's not going on the floor. All right, so these are our pleats on our dress. You can see that. And it doesn't look like we have anybody watching. So I think what we might do is we might go ahead and stop the video so I can make sure that y'all can see what I'm sewing. And I hope you tune in. Thanks for watching.